Whether or not student athletes should be paid has been a debatable topic since the 1900s. Student athletes spend an equal amount of time focusing on sports as well as they do academics, and they have the opportunity to gain fame, athletic edge, and also a free college degree just by signing a scholarship. I think that paying athletes would eliminate the innocence of college sports today. Um, it would also eliminate smaller schools from having an opportunity of being an underdog, as well as players from having a chance of being to come up at a high school and play that aren't as good at the time being. Um, the NCAA was established by Theodore Roosevelt in the early 1900s, and it was established to prevent uh, colleges from paying non-student athletes to represent them. By the Encyclopedia of Britannica, they later began regulated live televised coverage in order to gain attendance in the stadium. The NCAA is meant to focus on studies first and a proponent of 20 hours or less to the individual sport. But who doesn't love college athletics? And today I'd like to point out three certain athletes for y'all. The first being Zion Williamson, who played at Duke University. The second being Hunter Renfrow, who played at Clemson University. And the third being Steph Curry, who went to a school named Davidson. Zion Williamson and Hunter Renfrow, they both went to big schools for the sport they played, while Steph Curry went to a very much smaller school, who not a lot of people have heard of. But I feel like if compensation were to have happened back then, we probably would have never heard of Steph Curry today. Him coming out of high school, he wasn't that very sought after by big schools, and if it would have been based around money, I don't think he would have ever had an opportunity to be who he is today. Hunter Renfrow as well. He walked on to Clemson, and I feel like walk-ons would not even be an option if compensation were to be going on. Student athletes have many advantages. They get the luxury of attending concerts, movies, lectures, and being able to join a variety of clubs. And by Johnson and Aquavia, they also have prestigious gyms, well-manicured fields, athlete-only workout facilities, and sports medicare, traveling away games, meal plans, and free foot gear as well as athletic attire. Student athletes also get the best in coaches, nutrition, and strength and conditioning. The college they attend usually comes with a fan base and name recognition for them, and they also get lots of media exposure and just a competitive atmosphere, which helps the student athlete to excel a lot further. And by Johnson and Aquavia, all of which took decades, effort, and money. Student athletes have the ability to build relationships with peers, professors in their community, a lot more easily than someone who's a student would be able to. Not only is their college experience a lot like an internship, but it makes it very easy for them to network after school if they choose not to go in the sport they love, just because of who they are and their name is very recognizable from being an athlete. If athletes are paid, where should the line be drawn for other components of a college that aren't as profitable? For example, culinary and performing arts, they can be discounted, although they don't bring in near as much income as athletics do in college, but they're very important to lots of people, and taking that away would just not be right. Also, stuff like free health services would need to stay around, and if compensation started being around, it'd be a lot more based on money, and that would possibly go away. The idea that a free education is not being enough for a student athlete is just false. From Johnson and Aquavia, a college athlete will earn $1 million more than a non-graduate. Smaller schools that aren't as profitable would not have the ability to compete with bigger schools. And in the article by Yang 2020, the proposition of a performer athlete is entitled to market-based competition would ensure any underdog would not exist. If the NCAA did start doing compensation for athletes, there's three things that they could do. The first one is an allowance per player for living expenses, and that would include laundry, travel, as well as clothing. The second option they could do is compensation per player based on time they played. So based on the amount of game time they get would be the money they made. And lastly would be a profit share. This would be based on proceeds that the team has generated for whatever that sport was, and it would be split amongst the team. When a scholarship is signed by a student athlete, there's no doubt the amount of time and dedication needed to fulfill that scholarship and keep it. If a player, it's said that if a player does well in school and sports, they will most likely out earn others by a million or more, which is a huge number. The NCAA continues to endorse the NCAA continues to endorse an amateur ideology which discourages players from actually getting paid. This allows the NCAA to reap the benefits of a student earning a college degree, and it also keeps the sport a lot more genuine and keeps students loving the sport instead of it being based on money, as well as growing as a young adult. Thank you.